winning Motor Trend Truck of the Year 3 times in a row, that had never been done before. Then again, neither had a 12-inch touchscreen or 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Never been done before. It's just kind of our thing.
Flames TV live at the Intermission, brought to you by Ram Truck, winner of the Motor Trend Truck of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. Brendan Parker alongside Sportsnet 960 color analyst Peter Loubardias. And Peter, 5-day break in between games for the Calgary Flames. First of all, good to be back in the rink. And second of all, weren't exactly sure what the team would get here in terms of the jump in the early going after a little layoff in between games. What did you see?
Brendan, I'd actually say it was a tale of 2 periods or 2 10-minute stretches. Maybe some of the rust and being away and out of rhythm, I thought the Flames struggled a tad in the first 10, but then I thought they started to manage the puck better. I thought their puck placement, putting the Leafs under more duress for the most part in the back 10. Now, whether some rust or being away from it, I think we did see that a little bit early, but the most exciting part for me is 2 pretty good teams who really went at one another, and there were lots of different swings in that opening 20.
I was going to say, at the very least, you look at the pace and what we can expect the final 2. That was a good indication. Let's show the goal, first of all, because another one of those examples, we saw it in the Vancouver game as well. Not a shot that beats Jacob Markstrom clean, and maybe this is an opposition.
Give one up unless it goes off somebody?
Oppositions may have to look for goals like this to beat the guy, but similar to what we saw in Vancouver, a point shot like this.
Well, again, Mitch Marner's ability to weave through some traffic, send it back to Jacob Muzzin, and unfortunately it goes off of the Flames forward at the top. It hits Dominic Simone and then changes direction. You could even tell on the original look when the puck started to flutter, I'm like, uh-oh, that's what changed. It went off a body, but to Markstrom's credit, he made 3 or 4 other gems, or this, you know, Jack Campbell made a couple too, but Markstrom probably the better, harder work to do in the opening 20.
Well, and you talked about the swing, and I think we saw that late. A couple of really long, sustained offensive zone shifts for the Calgary Flames, and a couple of different lines able to do it. How can you build on that now, knowing that, you know, maybe you had an opportunity to swing momentum just a little bit in your favor?
Well, Brendan, even in preparation when we talked yesterday at practice, against the Toronto Maple Leafs, there's so much talk because of their quick strike offense, how you defend. But to me, equally important is what do you do when you have the puck? And your ability to not only make them defend, but how clean you are coming out of your own zone. You want to put that group under duress. Here's what I know generally about highly skilled offensive forwards. Not that they can't defend, it's not their first priority. So the more you can put them in that situation, the better. And that certainly started to happen in the back half of the period.
I want to talk a little bit about a guy, well, wearing number 78 tonight. We're used to seeing number 7, but TJ Brodie, a man well respected in this organization around the city, and I think you probably don't have to look much further than the nice little salute he got during the first TV timeout. It looks different, no question about it. Had a nice period for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but what do you make of TJ Brodie and his early return to the Scotiabank Saddledome?
Well, I thought he had a pretty good first period. He's in a very important, crucial spot with Morgan Rielly. You see the stick tap here from both teams.
Both benches up.
Both benches up. You couldn't wipe the smile, and he's not an easy guy when it comes to showing any emotion. Played 634 games for the Calgary Flames before his acquisition and his move as a free agent. Toronto is an excellent player. The Flames had a terrific player who went through lots of up and downs, and I will never forget him collapsing on the ice last November the 15th. But I think in many ways, for a guy who doesn't show it outwardly, he has always cared deeply. And it gave him, I believe, after that, a different perspective. I think he started to enjoy the game more. I truly felt TJ was arguably the best defenseman, along with Rasmus Andersson in the bubble during the playoffs. The Leafs are lucky to have him.
Well, and he talked about it, the perspective part of it, and I think his play would indicate that over the latter half of that season and then into the playoff bubble. Good to see TJ Brodie back in the Saddledome, albeit in blue this time. One last thought, Sean Monahan. I think you know, we were talking yesterday along those lines as well. What about his development as far as the defensive game, and what have you seen early in this season from the confidence standpoint from number 23?
Well, I think when you make some significant changes, we talked yesterday, you talked about a golfer changing his swing and how difficult, and that you'd have to go through some, you know, tough times. Maybe your score goes up, but in this sport, the more players you have who play it the right way all 200 feet, it benefits. I think for Sean, well, you start to play better, you're doing more right things, but your numbers aren't going right, so I think you struggle with that. Early in this season, I think he's off to a great start. More reliable in his own zone, more physical, doing a lot of things right, and now I think that's turning over in terms of him even feeling better with the puck when he has it.
Yeah, and the offense.
You got to put in the work to get to a new place.
And here's a couple examples tonight even, and you're right. I mean, the offensive numbers obviously there for this line early on. 8 points between him and Johnny combined to start the season. And as we know with so much of it, as you kind of laid out there perfectly, that confidence, it's got to start somewhere, and sometimes it's the small things that start it.
As much as it's about Elias Lindholm now centering a different line and a different pairing or trio, one of the reasons you can go there is because you feel like Sean, who's the anchor of his group, is better at 200 feet. So it's not just about Elias and what he brings. I'm not sure you can completely do it if you don't trust Sean more in the 200-foot game.
And now you still have a guy like Michael Backlund over the boards, and we've seen some sustained pressure from that line tonight as well. Changes the matchups. Good insight. Appreciate this, and look forward to seeing you back here in the second.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
Peter Loubardias alongside here in the Ram Intermission. We also have one quick update on the 50-50. It's an afternoon game, so there's still plenty of time to grab some tickets ahead of that because it doesn't close until 10 p.m. tonight. Calgary Flames Foundation Remax 50-50. It is now the pot growing over 150,000. We will check back on that in the second intermission and look forward to the second period upcoming. Calgary Flames need some work, down 1-0 after 1.
We call it the Ram 1500 Limited. But truth be told, there's nothing limited about it. Ram 1500, winner, J.D. Power Award for Best Driver Appeal.